Deo, a name known throughout Ibadan. A man carved from ambition and clothed in success. His textile business, woven with skill and relentless drive, had painted the city in vibrant hues of prosperity. Deo Textiles was more than just a business. It was a symbol of Ibadan's thriving economy, its vibrant culture woven into every thread. His laughter echoed in the markets, a booming, confident sound that often turned heads. His presence commanded respect, a palpable aura of power that he cultivated with careful deliberation. He was a man who believed he held the very threads of fortune in his hands, and he wasn't shy about letting others know it. But Deo harbored a secret shame, a gnawing emptiness that festered beneath his dazzling exterior like a hidden cankerworm. For 7 long years, he had been married to Omolara, a woman of beauty and grace, whose kindness flowed like the gentle Niger River. Her eyes held the warmth of the morning sun, and her laughter was like the sweet melody of the talking drum. She was everything a man could ask for in a wife, except for one thing: children. Yet, their home remained silent, untouched by the laughter of children. The spacious rooms of their meticulously decorated house echoed with emptiness, a stark contrast to the vibrant life that pulsed outside its walls. And in Deo's mind, this silence spoke volumes, louder than any spoken word. He blamed Omolara. The seed of resentment had been planted long ago, nurtured by his own insecurities and the relentless pressure from his family. He convinced himself that her womb was barren, a cursed plot of land unable to yield fruit. The elders in his family would often whisper veiled criticisms, comparing Omolara unfavorably to other women who had quickly filled their homes with children. His whispers grew louder, fueled by the impatient whispers of his mother, Deo, who yearned to cradle grandchildren to secure the continuation of their lineage. Deo, a formidable woman with a will as strong as the Harmattan wind, saw grandchildren as the ultimate validation of her son's success. And so, with a heart hardened by pride and blinded by impatience, Deo cast Omolara aside. He divorced her publicly, a cruel spectacle that unfolded in the heart of the market square, the very place where he had first courted her, promising her a lifetime of happiness. He accused her of infertility, of failing to fulfill her duty as a wife, his voice booming across the bustling marketplace, silencing the traders and drawing a crowd of horrified onlookers. The words, sharp and bitter, cut through the air like shattered glass, leaving Omolara wounded and humiliated. The memory of their love, once a beacon of hope, was now tarnished by his cruel pronouncements. Deo's arrogance knew no bounds. He intended to remarry, to find a woman whose womb would be as fertile as the earth after a heavy rain. He imagined the joy of fatherhood, the pride of seeing his children carry on his name. And, in a final act of calculated cruelty, he invited Omolara to his wedding. He wanted her to witness his triumph, to see her heartbroken and defeated, a living testament to his supposed righteousness. He believed that her pain would somehow validate his decision, proving that he had been right to cast her aside. The invitation arrived at Omolara's humble home like a poisoned arrow, delivered by a messenger who averted his gaze, ashamed to be part of such a heartless act. She read the words, each syllable a fresh wound, tearing at the fragile remnants of her self-esteem. Her heart, already bruised, threatened to shatter completely. Tears streamed down her face, blurring the lines of the cruel message, each drop a testament to the pain she had endured. But Omolara was not made of fragile glass. Beneath her gentle exterior lay a spirit of unwavering strength, a resilience that ran deep in her Yoruba blood, a connection to her ancestors who had faced countless trials with courage and determination. As the tears subsided, a flicker of defiance ignited within her. She would not be broken. She would not be defined by Deo's lies. She would rise from the ashes of his betrayal, stronger and more determined than ever before. She turned to her closest friend, Amora, a woman whose loyalty was as steadfast as the ancient rocks of Alumo. Amora's strength was a silent force, a constant presence that provided solace and unwavering support. Amora listened to Omalara's pain, her eyes filled with righteous anger. She held Omalara's hand, offering comfort and unwavering support. "Lara Eme," Amora said, her voice firm, her eyes blazing with determination, "you are not barren. You are a woman of strength and beauty. Deo's words are nothing but empty boasts, fueled by his own insecurities. We will find the truth, and we will show him the error of his ways." And so, guided by Amora's unwavering belief, Omalara embarked on a journey of self-discovery, a quest to reclaim her identity and prove Deo wrong. They sought the counsel of Dr. Adebayo, a man revered throughout Ibadan, not just for his medical expertise, but for his deep understanding of the human spirit. He was a medical doctor trained in the finest universities of America, but his heart remained rooted in the ancient wisdom of his Yoruba ancestors. He had returned to Ibadan, leaving behind a lucrative practice in the United States, to blend the precision of modern medicine with the healing power of traditional herbs, a mission driven by a deep sense of responsibility to his community. Dr. Adebayo listened patiently to Omalara's story, his eyes filled with compassion. He examined her with the latest medical equipment, his brow furrowed in concentration as he analyzed the results. Then, he turned to his ancestral knowledge, drawing upon the power of the earth and the secrets whispered by the leaves. He saw her not just as a patient, but as a woman deeply wounded by societal expectations and personal betrayal. He prepared a concoction of herbs, Yu Iran, known for its ability to balance hormones, Atar Isle, a potent cleanser that purified the body from within, and Iroko, believed to promote fertility and spiritual well-being, its strength a symbol of the resilience she needed to cultivate. He instructed Omalara to drink the mixture, to nourish her body and spirit with its ancient power, to reconnect with the natural rhythms of her being. He explained the science behind the herbs, how they worked in harmony with her body's natural processes to restore balance and promote fertility. The modern tests confirmed what Dr. Adebayo suspected: Omalara was perfectly capable of conceiving. There was no physical reason for her inability to bear children. The tests also helped Dr. Adebayo identify subtle hormonal imbalances that the herbs could address, working in harmony with modern medication. He tailored a personalized treatment plan, combining the best of both worlds, ensuring that Omalara received the most comprehensive care possible. This knowledge was the start for a successful pregnancy. Dr. Adebayo's calm assurance instilled a renewed sense of hope within Omalara, a belief that she could overcome this challenge and prove Deo wrong. The revelation shattered Deo's cruel accusations. Omalara felt a surge of vindication, a weight lifting from her shoulders. She had been unjustly accused, her womanhood questioned, and now the truth had finally emerged, a testament to her inner strength and resilience. Meanwhile, Deo's life was far from the triumphant fairy tale he had envisioned. His relationships after Omalara were short-lived and barren, each one ending in disappointment and frustration. He paraded women through his life, each one a symbol of his supposed success, but none could fill the void in his heart, the emptiness that echoed in the silence of his sprawling mansion. He tried to mask his insecurities with lavish displays of wealth, showering his dates with expensive gifts and taking them on extravagant trips, but the underlying emptiness remained. Aya Deo's pressure intensified, her disappointment a constant shadow over his life, a reminder of his perceived failure to fulfill his filial duty. Then came a duke, a woman from Lagos, as radiant as the setting sun. She possessed a sophistication that captivated Deo, a confidence that mirrored his own. She moved with an effortless grace, her laughter tinkling like wind chimes. He saw in her the answer to his prayers, the vessel that would finally bring him the children he so desperately craved, the validation he needed to silence his critics and prove his worth. He planned a wedding of unparalleled extravagance, a dazzling display of wealth and power, a desperate attempt to mask his insecurities and project an image of unwavering success. He sent the invitation to Omolara, relishing the thought of her reaction, imagining her pain as he celebrated his supposed triumph. He was so consumed by his own ego that he failed to see the underlying cracks in his carefully constructed facade. But fate is a trickster. A duke, despite her beauty and charm, also failed to conceive. Deo grew increasingly desperate, his facade of confidence beginning to crumble under the weight of his anxieties. He refused to undergo fertility testing himself, fearing the truth, clinging to the lie that Omolara had propagated, unable to confront the possibility that the fault might lie within him. He was trapped in a cycle of denial, blinded by his own pride and unwilling to face the consequences of his actions. The wedding day arrived, a spectacle of color and music, a testament to Deo's wealth and influence. The air thrummed with anticipation, thick with the scent of expensive perfumes and the sounds of excited chatter. Guests arrived in their finest attire, a kaleidoscope of vibrant colors and intricate designs, eager to witness the union of Ibadan's most eligible bachelor and Lagos's most captivating beauty. Deo stood at the altar, his heart pounding with a mixture of anxiety and anticipation, his smile strained and unnatural. The drums began to beat, signaling the arrival of the bride, their rhythmic pulse resonating through the crowd. A duke walked down the aisle, her face veiled, her movements graceful, her dress shimmering like moonlight on water. Deo's heart swelled with pride. He was about to prove to the world, and to Omolara, that he was a man blessed by fortune, a man who could have anything he desired. But then, a hush fell over the crowd, an abrupt silence that replaced the excited chatter. A gasp rippled through the guests, their eyes widening in disbelief. All eyes turned towards the entrance, drawn by an undeniable force. A Rolls-Royce, a car as opulent as a king's chariot, glided to a stop before the hall, its gleaming exterior reflecting the shocked faces of the onlookers. From the vehicle emerged a woman, her beauty even more radiant than Deo remembered, her presence commanding attention. It was Omolara. She wore a gown of shimmering white, its delicate lace catching the sunlight, its elegance a stark contrast to the extravagance of Deo's wedding. Her head was held high, her eyes filled with strength and a quiet joy, reflecting a resilience that had been forged in the fires of adversity. Beside her stood a handsome man, his face etched with kindness and pride, his presence radiating warmth and security. And in front of them, wheeled a carriage containing not one, not two, but 3 sleeping infants. Triplets, Ikenna, Ifiok, and Inameti, each a testament to Omolara's strength, resilience, and the power of hope. Each a tiny, perfect being, a living rebuke to Deo's cruelty. The silence was deafening, broken only by the soft cooing of the babies. Deo stood frozen, his mouth agape, his world spinning, his carefully constructed reality shattering into a million pieces. He stared at Omolara, at her husband, at the triplets, his mind struggling to comprehend the scene unfolding before him. The truth, undeniable and overwhelming, crashed down upon him, crushing his pride and exposing his lies. Omolara walked slowly down the aisle, her presence commanding respect, her movements deliberate and graceful. She stopped before Deo, her eyes meeting his. There was no malice in her gaze, only a quiet understanding, a deep compassion for the man he had once been. "Deo," she said, her voice clear and strong, resonating through the silent hall, "I came here not to gloat, but to show you the truth. I am not barren. The fault lies not within me." A duke, hearing Omolara's words, her veil trembling, her face etched with confusion, stepped forward. She looked at Deo, her eyes filled with betrayal, her heart aching with disappointment. "Is this true?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper, her dreams of a happy marriage dissolving before her eyes. "Did you blame her for something that was not her fault?" Deo remained silent, his head bowed in shame, unable to meet a duke's gaze. The truth hung heavy in the air, suffocating him, exposing his deceit to the world. A duke tore off her veil, her face a mask of fury, her eyes blazing with righteous anger. "I cannot marry a man who builds his happiness on lies and deceit," she declared, her voice ringing with righteous anger, her words echoing through the stunned silence. She turned and walked away, her footsteps echoing through the silent hall, leaving Deo to face the consequences of his actions. The wedding crumbled before Deo's eyes, his carefully constructed facade collapsing under the weight of his lies. Guests whispered, their faces a mixture of shock and disdain, their previous admiration replaced by scorn and pity. Aya Deo, her face pale, her dreams of grandchildren shattered, clung to her son's arm, her disappointment palpable. Deo was left standing alone, exposed and humiliated, the architect of his own downfall. His pride, his arrogance, had led him to this ruinous moment, stripping him of everything he held dear. The threads of fortune he believed he held in his hands had unraveled, leaving him stripped bare, a broken man facing the consequences of his actions. The repercussions were swift and devastating. His business suffered, his reputation tarnished by the scandal. Clients withdrew their contracts, employees lost their jobs, and Deo Textiles teetered on the brink of collapse. Friends and acquaintances distanced themselves, their laughter replaced by whispers of scorn, their admiration replaced by pity. Aya Deo, once his greatest supporter, now looked at him with disappointment and regret, her dreams of a thriving lineage shattered. Deo's world, once vibrant and prosperous, had become a desolate wasteland. He was forced to confront the consequences of his actions, the devastation he had wrought on Omolara, and the hollowness of his own pride. He wandered through the empty rooms of his mansion, haunted by the ghosts of his past, his heart aching with remorse. Finally, humbled and broken, he sought out Omolara. He found her in her new home, a modest but joyful place filled with the laughter of her sons, their innocent voices a balm to his wounded soul. Emeka, her husband, greeted him with wary politeness, his eyes filled with a mixture of caution and compassion. Deo knelt before Omolara, his eyes filled with tears. "Omolara," he sobbed, his voice choked with emotion, "I was wrong. I was blinded by pride and ignorance. I wronged you terribly. Please, forgive me." Omolara looked at Deo, her heart filled with a mixture of pity and compassion. She saw a broken man, a man who had finally learned the bitter lesson of humility. She reached out and gently touched his hand. "Deo," she said, her voice filled with forgiveness, "I have found peace and happiness. I harbor no resentment towards you. But you must seek the truth about yourself. You must confront your own failings and learn from your mistakes." She urged him to consult Dr. Adebayo, to undergo the necessary medical tests, to confront the possibility that he, not she, was the reason for their childlessness. She spoke of the importance of self-awareness and the transformative power of forgiveness. Deo, finally willing to face the truth, followed Omolara's advice. He went to Dr. Adebayo, his heart filled with trepidation. The tests confirmed his worst fears. He had a low sperm count, a condition that made it difficult, though not impossible, for him to father children. The revelation was a crushing blow, but it also brought a sense of clarity. He understood now the injustice he had inflicted upon Omolara. He had blamed her for his own shortcomings, using her as a scapegoat for his own insecurities, perpetuating a lie that had caused her immense pain. Dr. Adebayo prescribed a combination of modern and traditional treatments, a regimen of herbs and medication designed to improve Deo's fertility. He also urged Deo to seek counseling, to address the emotional scars that had fueled his pride and arrogance, to learn to value himself for who he was, not for what he possessed. Deo embarked on a long and arduous journey of healing, a path that led him to confront his deepest fears and insecurities. He learned to listen, to empathize, to see the world through the eyes of others. He began to rebuild his life, brick by brick, this time with humility and compassion as his guiding principles. He closed the textile company and started learning a skill that would not be as tasking: a shoe cobbler. Omolara, meanwhile, thrived in her new life. She loved Emeka with a deep and abiding affection, their bond forged in mutual respect and unwavering support. And she cherished her 3 sons with every fiber of her being, showering them with love and nurturing their spirits. She used her experience to counsel other women facing similar challenges, offering them support and encouragement, becoming a beacon of hope for those who had been unjustly accused and marginalized. And so, the tale of Deo and Omolara came to its conclusion. Deo, chastened by his experiences, learned the true meaning of humility and the importance of compassion. He found peace in his new life, working as a shoe cobbler, content with the simple joys of life. Omolara, strengthened by adversity, found happiness and fulfillment, her life a testament to the power of resilience and the transformative power of forgiveness. The story reminds us, listeners, that pride comes before a fall, and that true strength lies not in wealth or status, but in humility, forgiveness, and the unwavering belief in oneself. It reminds us that children are a blessing, not a measure of a woman's worth. And, finally, it reminds us that even in the darkest of times, hope can blossom like a flower in the desert. It also teaches us that everyone should seek medical help and not think otherwise. If this story captivated you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Folktales Blockbuster, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next story from the heart of the hustle. Stay safe out there.